The smooth and smoky beverage that warms us up. Whiskey. Whiskey has something called mash bills. In other words, it's considered a list of ingredients. Each mash bill generates different flavors, and certain grains help categorize the different kinds of whiskey. Think of whiskey as the umbrella which all the other types fall under. To keep it simple for now, there's rye, bourbon, Scotch, and Irish whiskey. Yes, that is spelled with an E on purpose. Let's start with rye. In order for a whiskey to be considered rye, the mash bill needs to legally contain a minimum of 51% rye. Bourbon, which fascinatingly enough needs to be created in America for it to be considered bourbon, must contain a minimum of 51% corn to legally be defined as bourbon. Both bourbon and rye are aged in rick houses where all the barrels are kept for X amount of years in order to produce different flavors. Both must also be distilled at 160 proof, which equals 80% alcohol by volume, or ABV. Now, Scotch, similar to bourbon, needs to come from Scotland in order for it to be considered Scotch. Scotch can then be broken down into two main categories, either blended or single malt. Just depends on your preference. Finally, Irish whiskey, which is spelt with an E by the Irish. You guessed it, Irish whiskey needs to come from Ireland in order for it to be Irish whiskey and must be aged by a minimum of 3 years. That should be enough information for the next time you go into a bar and order yourself a whiskey drink.